Welcome and welcome back, everybody. Tia here, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a playthrough of ROVE from Button Shy Games. During the playthrough, I'll give a tutorial about how the game is played, and be sure you stick around for the end of the video where I share my thoughts about the game in general. Without further ado, let's get started. Here's the game of ROVE, set up and ready to play. ROVE stands for Results-Oriented Versatile Explorer. During the course of the game, we are going to be playing as one of these little robots, traversing through and completing missions, moving modules around on a grid. So for setup, the first thing you're going to do is shuffle these 6 module cards and set them out in a 3x2 grid. Then you are going to shuffle the mission cards, placing 1 face up as your first mission. And for a standard game, placing 5 with the back movement side up to form your hand. The rest of the cards will go off to the side to form the movement deck. During the course of the game, you are going to discard a card for the movement points. You'll receive the top points as a basic movement, or if the pattern shown on the card is available in the grid, you can then turn in the movement card for the bottom movement points instead. Each of the modules has a unique ability as well as specific ways that it can move. If it has just a plain arrow, it can move any number of spots in that particular direction, passing over cards or not. If it has an arrow with a little diamond symbol, then it can move any number in one direction, but it has to pass over at least 1 card. If it has a flat end, that means it can move 1 space in any of those shown directions, but it will also bump any card next to it. And if it has just a little node at the end, it means that it can only move 1 in any of the directions shown. Now, when moving cards, they will have to snap to this grid of existing cards. Additionally, you cannot move a card so that it becomes disconnected to the main grid at any point in time, although cards can be counted as connected, provided that they share at least 1 matching corner. You'll discard cards from your hand as you turn them in for movement points until the cards in the grid align to the specific mission that you are trying to accomplish. At that point, if you have remaining movement points from your cards, they will be forfeit and you can discard the card. Then you'll draw a new mission, placing it overlapping your previous mission, as well as a new card into your hand. Now, at any point during the game, you can also utilize the modules 1 time for their specific abilities, which we'll see throughout this game. In order to win, our goal is to complete 7 of these missions before we run out of cards in our hands and can no longer progress forward. So let's go ahead and jump into our first turn here. We are trying to complete this haul mission where we have our gear in the bottom right corner. So we're off to a good start. And in fact, we're almost in this position, save. We would need a card up here. So we can do this pretty easily with 2 movements. I want to go ahead and choose one of the 2 movements where the particular shape shown isn't maybe going to be as easy to accomplish. So I'm going to discard this card for 2 movement points, which is the basic movement. And I will go ahead and shift this up here and the brain over to the left. So as you can see, we have this pattern showing. We're going to go ahead and draw a new mission card to replace the old mission like so. They'll overlap, giving us our new mission, which is to jump. And then we'll draw a card into our hand. Okay. So next we have to get them aligned with the coil at the top, and then pretty much the inverse of what we have going on here. Now, what I am thinking is if we put the coil up here and can get these adjacent that way, that might be a valid option. So I'm going to shift these over actually just a little bit. The coil's special ability is that we can place it in any location, which is pretty great. We could also place a module adjacent to the brain. So if we use 3 movements, I think we'll be able to make this happen if we use 2 of the movement cards. I'm not sure how great of an idea that is early on, but I don't think we'll get this orientation with the brain in the middle. So I'm going to spend it for 3 movement points. The first move we'll do is, oh no, that's not quite right. Uh-oh. So we'll do 1 movement here like so. And then we can swap any 2 modules. This was not the original plan, but we'll see if it works. So we'll swap these 2. And let's go ahead then and place, we've done one of the 3 movements and we're already in a pickle. It would have been nice to get it done with 1, but I think we should have used 2 2s to do 4 instead potentially. So what I could do next is go, oh, I can't move this one because it would force our little gear here to be on its own. So let's use the, brain. Oh, this is not going well. To place our gear here. And then we can go 2 3. So to get, actually, let's place it on this side and go 2 3 up here. Now, if we spend 2 movements, we could go 1 and then 2, and then we would have the shape. So which one are we not going to get? I don't think we're going to get any cards above the gear anytime soon. Let's spend that one to move this 1 and then 2 movements. Okay, so we have our jump completed. I'm going to go ahead and shift these over so we can get our new mission, which is recharge. Alrighty. And let's see, we do get to draw a new movement card as well. Okay, we do have this pattern on the brain, so we could get 5 movement points. Let's see where we're at in terms of getting everything shifted to the right locations. We could move this here, move that up. We could then probably move these in some fashion. We're going to go ahead and spend this for 5 movements. Let's do 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I can't just shift any module 1 space, so we can place it up there. Now our pattern matches recharge, which is great. So we'll draw another one. It looks like we're doing well, but we have used half of the special abilities and we've only done 3 missions. So we'll see. We'll draw our last card here, like so. Sorry for the constant shifting. This one does take up a little bit of space, and because of how the cards end up configuring and laying out, the grid is never ending. So it can keep building in one way. So it's good to have a large playing surface for this game. All right, let's see. Ooh, oh no, these are not coils. We were so close to having it without even trying. Oh my goodness, we really need to get moving on these cards because climb, as you can see, we need the grapple hook up in the top left corner, and it is currently in the bottom right corner. So that is not very promising. The hook has very limited movement as well. It can only move 1 spot over, so it can't jump over cards or move in a longer line. Let's see, what could we do? I guess the best thing to do would be to try to move these as much as possible. I think keeping the coil where it is and moving everything else around it might be the best option, because the coil has to jump over other cards to get into place. So that's a little harder to manage. Or we can flip it to place it in any valid location. We do almost have this 3x3 that we would need, and then we can move 1 down. So let's see, which of these is least likely to happen anytime soon? Probably this 2. I'm not sure how many movement points I'll need, but let's just try it and see what happens. Let's do 1. Why don't we then go ahead and do 2? Okay, so we would need the coil here, and we need this here. So if we spend another 2, we can make that happen. So place the coil in any valid location, and then we'll go 1, 2, and we've completed climb. So now that our draw deck is empty, we're gonna go ahead and shuffle this up, place out our next mission, which is learn with the brain in the bottom left corner, and we do get 1 additional movement card. Alrighty, let's see what we have here. We could move the coil down here, could move this here, and then we would just have to get the brain way over. But that might be our best bet. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 movements. Let's see if we have any of these in place. Not necessarily, but we could line it up to get this card later. So I think I'm going to spend the 3 card tentatively to go 1, 2, 3. And then we're just 1 off. So I guess I'll use the 2 begrudgingly because we're going to have a wasted movement here. So we've completed learn. Now we're going to go for the drill mission, draw a new movement card. Oy, oy, oy. Let's see. What could we do? We do have this in place with our star and 2 cards adjacent here on the diagonal. So what if we did 1? There's no way to move this, what is this called? Orthogonally? I don't know. We can only move it at a diagonal. So that does mess with our plans a little bit because we could go 1, 2, and then if this could just move down, I guess we could go 3 and then move it back. So we'll spend this 5 movement to go 1, 2. We're going to use the gear to shift this down. 3, remove it. 4. Oh wait, but the gear needs to be down here. So 3, 4, and then, oh, that's not fun. So maybe instead let's do, yeah, okay, 3, 4. Why don't we use this power to draw a movement card and see what we get at least? I guess the best thing we can do is activate an adjacent module's ability, and this can activate even a card that has already been flipped. So we'll place this module close to the brain. And then let's go ahead and use this 2 movement. Oh, we can actually get 4, but we don't need it. So that's a little bit of a waste. But it won't be at 4 next time. So we'll go 1, 2 movements. We'll forfeit the other 2. And place out our final mission, which is going to be bridge. And we get to draw 1 additional card. So we have 2 cards left. We don't have any abilities available to us from our modules. We'll have to see if we can make this work. All right. So we need to get them like so. I don't know if that's going to be possible. Maybe if we line up this to become a 5 movement in some way, that could maybe work. So I'm going to spend 3 movement points to go 1, 2, and then we have, I don't know. We have a 3rd. Oh no, we were trying to get one under the brain so we could get the 5 points. So maybe let's XCOM that and let's go 1, 2, 3? Question mark? I really have no idea. And then we have 5 movement points. Let's see if we can make this happen. So I think what we can do is go 1, 2, 3. Oh, thank goodness. 4 and 1 to spare. So we have a successful bridge built. So our 7 missions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 were a success just in the nick of time as we are out of mission cards as well as module abilities. So there you have it. That is a playthrough of ROVE from Buttonshy Games. When ROVE was announced, I wasn't necessarily automatically drawn to it. The idea of having cards in a puzzly type grid, I wasn't exactly sure if that would be satisfying mechanically or if it would just kind of fall flat and feel very repetitive. However, in playing it, I really do enjoy the challenge that these 18 cards provide. One of the things that really spices it up for me is the fact that each module has a different movement pattern and that they have their own unique abilities. So the timing of when you're going to use them, as well as positioning modules in certain places that are appropriate for the current and future missions is really cool. And speaking of future missions, knowing what the next mission is going to be on the top of the deck really adds a level of complexity and strategy. I also love the fact that the cards are somewhat multi-use in that they provide movement points, but also a mini goal. There is some tension between, do I just go straight for the mission, or do I try to set up my grid so that I can get the maximum movement points on some of these cards in between? There's some really tricky decisions here. This game does feel quite abstracted from the theme, although everything makes sense technically. Playing it, I didn't find it to be particularly immersive. One thing that I did find very endearing, though, is the fact that the mission cards laid out, as you saw during the playthrough, do show a visual story of where our little versatile explorer has been traveling. Overall, if you like puzzly games and are looking for something quick, fun, and challenging, definitely be sure to check out ROVE. That's all the time we have for today. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe down below for more board game content, and you can click the like button. It's free and it really helps out the channel. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.